Oi, oi, Savaloi. It's the only time they've ever investigated a ghost story like this. I'm very intrigued to see what is over this wall. Thought it was a snake. It's quite a drop down there. There's the first glimpse. Nearly there. Oh, wow. So hello, how are you all doing? Welcome to this next episode of Adventures of the Corpse. So parked up in Upton House, which is a National Trust property just back there. And we're going to go and walk along Edgehill today. Look about the history of the how its significance in the English Civil War. So yeah, so come along with me. So Upton House is actually a very elegant 17th century country mansion, famous for its terrace gardens and the extensive art collection. The house itself today stands on the site of a medieval hamlet of Upton, which was enclosed and depopulated around 1500, and that was to make way for pasture for sheep farming. And during the 1930s, the house was actually redesigned by Kitty Lloyd-Jones as a country retreat and hunting lodge. Wow, that looks never ending. So it's been a minute since I've done a solo walking video. It's been quite a few weeks now. With the warm weather and a few other things I've got going on at the time, just haven't had a chance to just get out and be able to do some walks like this. So hopefully this will be the start up again of many walks. Edgehill, this is one of the places that I've seen from afar on many other walks as well. And it's a place I've always wanted to come to, really, and always wanted to see what it was actually like at the top of there. So that's what we're going to do today. This walk is quite well signposted. You can see from the yellow markers every now and again on the public footpath signs. It's a 5.5 mile loop, and obviously you're going along the top of Edgehill. We also get to see the famous Jacob's Ladder, which we'll talk about when we get there. And then there's a bit of an undulation as we come back, round off the hill, round through Radley, I believe it is, and then back over towards Upton House. So it has been absolutely scorching these last few weeks in the UK. Been well into the 30s, which we're just not used to in this country, unfortunately. It's just not, it just isn't for us, I don't believe. But it's definitely not for me anyway. Oh. Oi, oi, Savaloi. So yeah, that's the reason why I haven't been really out doing a lot of walks. It's just been far too hot. It's not enjoyable at all, but it's nice. A bit cloudy today, as you can see. A bit more cloud about. There's a combine harvester going there. But yeah, a bit more cloud about today. You can give me the wind, the rain, the cold, and I'll quite happily go out and have a walk, but you give me a boiling hot day, no siree, I'll be staying indoors. So over in that direction there, so we're just coming to the end of this really long straight in this farmer's field. You sort of see like a small sort of hump just in the middle, here-ish. And that's Shenlow Hill, apparently. And then just to the left of Shenlow Hill is actually a gliding club. So I might see some gliders coming in and out. So it just comes to the end of the field, and you see the yellow markers there. And we're just going to head straight over to the gate over there. This is where we get to the first sort of viewing point. almost feels here like we're about to walk off the edge of the earth. Almost like when you get to the seaside and you're walking onto a cliff. Look at that view that is opening up. Oh wow. That is absolutely phenomenal. What a beautiful outlook. Here are very, very well weathered information board here. So yeah, 1642, 23rd of October, first major battle in the English Civil War was fought on the plains below between Coynton and Radway. So Coynton is over in amongst those trees, over a bit more down to the right I think. As we go past these trees you'll be able to see it a bit better. And you can definitely see why King Charles would have chose to lead his army here and face the enemy. Looking down upon this, you must have felt absolutely invincible. Right, well, let's conquer this stile and we'll head over. I don't know what is coming through the trees there. Could be a T-Rex, God knows. I'm hoping that I don't have to go down too much and that we can stay along the top. Yeah, buzzing. Oh, what a beautiful walk. Just give another long perspective of the whole of the view there, just while we're away from that noisy chipper. Absolutely incredible. Okay, let's follow this along. Kind of just want to keep filming to the left, to be honest, but I know this camera won't do it the justice it deserves. So the majority of the walk is actually completely all along the escarpment. As you can see, you can actually go a little bit further that way as well. But yeah, it's not much of a walk really from Upton. Even if you're visiting Upton House, you're probably talking 10-15 minute walk just to the edge, just so you can see this. Absolutely phenomenal. So we're going to follow this all the way along now to, I'm sure it's called Radley. There's Radway and then there's Ratley, I think, and then there's a Radley. So I'm a little bit confused, but it's one of the ways, or one of the lees. But we're going to walk to the end, basically, of Edgehill and then come back round inland, as it were. But it looks like we're going into some woods here. Well, it's got me looking forward to this one now. So it looks like we just have to scoot back off the escarpment just for a very short while, just to go around this farmhouse here. And then once we got back out onto the other side, we'll be around that corner and we should be able to see the actual battlefield of Edgehill. So yeah, that goes to the farmhouse. What we want to do is just scoot around it on the inside. Oh, there's a dog. So yeah, just heading towards back onto the main road off this drive, and then should be back on the escarpment. Even though the sun's not out today, it's still quite warm. So, oh, this is fun. And so you do have to walk down this blind verge. So obviously be wary of this if you're bringing your dog or whatnot on these walks. There is a verge, but it's not brilliant. Well, that looks beautiful and mysterious, doesn't it? Marvellous, this is what we like. Public footpath, yellow signage, beautiful. I'm very intrigued to see what is over this wall. Not a lot, fair enough. It looks like a brand new orchard or something, potentially. Yeah, you just see snippets there. It's a very thick forest up here. Obviously it is the height of summer now, so everything is blooming out in all green. I can imagine in the winter you probably get a very nice view out to the surrounding country with all the leaves gone. Literally surrounded by bugs and butterflies. Flies all over the place. So as we get a little bit closer to the battlefield, so as alluded to with the sign back there, in October 1642, a great big battle took place here. Tens of thousands of men died on the spot, gave their life for what they believed in. And 2 months after the battle took place, the villagers came down, looked up at the sky, and they were said to have witnessed the exact battle of Edgehill happen in the sky. So they saw the flashes of lightning, they saw, the gunfire, they saw the men screaming, they saw people dying, and they thought that this, because it was such a great big event, that all these souls as such were still fighting it out whilst they were up there. They hadn't quite made it through to heaven potentially, or maybe they were in heaven, I don't know. Whatever you believe in, I suppose. But the villagers all swear that they could see the battle happening in the sky that night. So this eventually made its way down to the Royal Crown. And the Royal Crown, and it is the only one and only time that this has happened, but the Royal Crown, or the British Crown, actually investigated it. It's the only time they've ever investigated a ghost story like this. And they were said to have actually seen the exact same battle happen on that night. I can hear a kite. All these are actually, I would actually say they're probably ready. Can't quite see where that bird of prey is. It's gone quiet now. Oh, he is out there. Just come across that. Thought it was a snake. It's just a shoelace. It's quite a drop down there. Following those yellow signs. Interesting branch, wasn't it? I do think that potentially this would be one to come back and do in the winter, when you will be able to see the whole of the view, pretty much the whole way along here Been walking for about a mile, I think, now across the top, and absolutely gorgeous. Lovely path, you know, lovely and shaded in here as well, like if it was to come out sunny. As you can see, the views out of there would be absolutely phenomenal if we were able to see them. The view now out there. There you are. This is the battlefield of Edgehill. So there we are. So this is Edgehill and the battlefield that goes along with it. Amazing to think, like literally thousands of people died. And I think what's more even poignant is the fact that how they did it as well. So in a sec we're going to go along up here to a place called Jacob's Ladder, and Jacob's Ladder is where they actually pulled a lot of the cannons, and they had to use horses and stuff to get the cannons up and down this hill. You imagine this on a very, very wet and muddy October morning. It's not going to be fresh, lovely grass, is it? The amount of troops that probably came over here as well. It's probably a lot of troops actually slipped all the way down, potentially. So just nipping back into the woods bit. So that is, you can actually follow that down, and it's the battlefield trail. Goes down into Radway. So that actually goes up to a lovely pub, I have been told, called the Castle at Edgehill. You would have seen the top of the tower. So it's actually a folly, that is. It's an 18th century folly. It's nothing to do with the Civil War. It was actually marked there as, I think it was a centenary, so 100 years after the Civil War took place. So 1742 it was built. Well, I'll tell you what, yeah, we'll go up and have a look, just so I can show you. There's the first glimpse of that sun that's perfectly placed to not be able to see a thing, but Look at some of the terrain they would have had to come across. That is very, very steep. This is the castle at Edgehill. Excuse the breathing, that hill is crazy. Just get a view of the front end for you. Beautiful garden. A beautiful garden. Very nice. So, trudging along this medieval road. So I can imagine these was probably more of the sorts of roads that they would have took in the Royalist Army. Marching down, no doubt in the background you'd have been able to hear all of the horses, the shouts of the orders from the men, the cannons being rolled into place, obviously your own marching guys that you were with. It would have been so much adrenaline and so much fear all built up together. So that's actually a really nice little stop off for anybody doing this walk. Obviously 5.5 miles, it's a fair distance, isn't it? It's going to take you at least an hour or so, probably a couple of hours at least. So yeah, it's a really nice sort of watering hole just to the top of there, and then you're now back on the trail, back along the Edgehill escarpment. Huge bit of destruction there. Someone's etched Oliver Cromwell into that tree. I'm not going to say that's authentic, but very apt. Although I do believe that Oliver Cromwell wasn't actually as infamous at the time of Edgehill as he was in the later years of the war. He was still sort of finding his feet. Pop into the field for a second. There's a beautiful bench there. So you can imagine this. So that walks all the way into Radway there. If you follow that, it goes all the way into Radway where the parliamentarian soldiers would have been waiting for the Royalist army. So the Royalists would have had to scramble down this hill. Obviously not too bad going down, but you'd have probably fell over. Guaranteed you'd have been on your backside, wet, soaked through. And then after you've fought for hours and hours, hand-to-hand combat, absolutely knackered, you know, possibly injured, but definitely exhausted from the day, you would have had to walk straight back up this hill, back to your camp. So we're gonna do the top part of what they would have endured now and see what it actually would have been like for them. I think it's about to get steep. There we are. Jacob's Ladder in all its glory. Right, let's do it. So these stone steps would obviously not have been here during the time of the Civil War. And you can just imagine what they would have had to go up instead. Nearly there. Wow. I would not want to go up and down this hill injured, carrying a pike, a musket, armour. Oh, fair play to them lads. And just a few more. Oh. And that is out to the main road where we're going to walk to Ratley in a sec. That was a good workout, that was, I tell you. Oh, right, onwards and upwards. Okay. Oh, pop out. That's nice and easy. I thought I might have been there for a while. That's a nice little parking area here if you want to just pop down to the castle and have a drink and walk on the escarpment a bit. Very nice. Just going along the high street now of Ratley. So looking for a right turn up here somewhere. See a yellow post. Very random. We're heading off up into the corner of this hill. So looking back into Ratley there, apparently that is an old Mott and Bailey there, just in amongst all those trees. You can sort of see the edges of it around there, where a fort at some point, or a tower or a lookout post would have been. Oh, made it to the top of the hill. Not quite as bad as old Jacob's Ladder, but still a good hill. You can hear a load of kites in that direction, so that's the farm track back to the road. And then we have this track, which goes over a few fields, but as you can see there is like quite a big valley in the middle of there, which is going to go down and then come back up again. And then you've also got a big main road at the other side, which is a big A road, which you're going to have to walk along to get back to Upton House. So I think we'll make the decision and walk along this farm track and then walk along the road back to Upton House. Hopefully might get a glimpse of these kites that I can hear. I think the highlight for me of this walk has been that battlefield, the Edgehill battlefield. The original view out that you could see was absolutely amazing. And I think if I definitely would return in the winter, probably very, very muddy, unfortunately, in the winter. But I think if I was going to come back and do it another time, I think I would definitely come back and do it in the winter. Yeah, this doesn't seem too bad a road, really. Looks like it might be a verge as well. Let's hope it carries on. So this is Grange Lane. And this heads all the way back to Upton House now, pretty much. So So this used to be a masonry works, but as you can see, that is well and truly deserted. Just come across this random plinth thing. What is this? The past. So all the plaque says, Ragley, Edgehill and Upton. Cradled in the past, poised for the future. Element Trail, Earth site. This obelisk is the most ambitious element constructed to mark the millennium. First female apprentice stonemason in the history of Hornton Quarry. So we now got to make our way along here. Looks a bit busier, not so much of a verge. We'll see what comes of it. Just have a little wander along the road. It's not too bad, to be honest. This is quite a long old slog. It's not a very busy road, to be fair, as you can see. Had a handful of cars past me only. This is the main A422 here. That is the walls there of Upton House. So we are nearly back. You can see me a lot busier in the car park than when I left it this morning. Very impressive sort of drive down to Upton House from the top here. Look at that. Beautiful. Right, just going to go down to the next little section and then we're back in the car park. Wow. Whole lot more cars. It was literally empty when I came here this morning. Just want to say thank you very, very much for watching. As always, you know, it really is amazing that, you know, I've got 169 people, I think, that have subscribed to the channel. I really, really appreciate it. Every single one of you. But yeah, hopefully this is going to be the start of a succession of videos now coming through. So I'll catch you on the next one. Hope you've enjoyed this. Take care.